Hi, this is your daily horoscope and energy reading for May 22nd. And I just want to talk about today because I'm just feeling from today's energy that this is going to be a day of a lot of confusion and a lot of super hard to describe today. I mean, the Gemini energy is driving me insane. You can't even believe how many interruptions I've had making these videos because it's like, I'm never been so popular. Like, usually when I do videos, nobody ever comes over, so I have like unlimited time, but it's just, I'm so distracted even making these videos because of this Gemini feeling. And I have a Gemini rising, so even if I talk about it, even if I even slightly tap into it, I just don't, it's so hard for me to have direction in thought. And that's the way that this energy, especially today, is going to feel. You're just, you're not going to truly know how to process today. And it may make you cantankerous, especially if you're a control freak. It may make you irritated that people are so flighty and so, hard to predict and hard to understand. You're just going to piss you off. Today, the sun is in Gemini. The moon is in Cancer. And Mars is in Gemini. Mercury is in Gemini. So you have a lot going on in really, really personal planets. And I always like to talk about our personal planets because to me, that's how you go through your day. I mean, there are outside influences that make our days like much more challenging or much more benefic. The sun in Gemini is going to be opposing Saturn again, and it was yesterday. So again, there's that whole thing about getting your twins to communicate with each other. There's an accountability that's happening with Saturn. Saturn is the planet of karma. It's asking you to think about what you've done in your past, how your mutable energy has been difficult for other people to really count on. There hasn't been a lot of stability. Have you been falling in because one thing that I think is super interesting, and I just thought of this, and I apologize, I'm going to be all over the place when I'm tapping into this Gemini energy, so just bear with me. Okay, so on the chart, if you have a Gemini rising, where you fall is in Sagittarius. Okay, so this is really, really cool to me, and I just got this epiphany. So to me, this is where Geminis are going to fall. So if their sun is shining, right, it's like this Sagittarius energy in Saturn, the planet of karma, and then this Saturn energy where Geminis fall is kind of just putting a damper on the energy overall. So this accountability, I think, is going to speak to you more than I've seen it speak to others that have had this Sagittarius influence in Saturn. I think it's just going to be a lot more hardcore for the Gemini energy because, there's something that Saturn did not like that you have been doing, and that there's an accountability for that, period. And Saturn's not going to let up. This isn't a benefic Saturn ready to just give you a bunch of blessings because you've been working so hard. This is not a happy Saturn whatsoever. It is really slapping your hands. And the reason why I say this is because Mars in Gemini is also going to be opposing Saturn. So this Gemini energy is still going to have another, where it falls lesson. So the planet of passion, Mars, the doer planet, is going to make you aggressive. And have you been aggressive in your past? If so, what did you do in haste that caused you to get to where you are right now that that really did something to somebody else that wasn't good. Saturn is making you think about, what did you do to somebody else that really hurt somebody? And it's going to be asking for you to pay your debt in karma. I completely believe it after looking at this energy. And there's no fantasizing. Yesterday you were able to get caught up in a little fantasy. Today, Mercury and Gemini is going to be squaring Neptune and Pisces. There's no getting away from this. This isn't dreamy energy anymore. This is, you're accountable, and Saturn's not letting you out of the classroom. There's no running, there's no hiding, and there's no avoiding Geminis. You can't avoid this Gemini energy. Even us who are influenced, who may not have a lot of Gemini influences in we can't avoid this Gemini, this duality. I think this energy is asking us, how do all of us process dualities within inside of ourselves? And if so, how do we avoid who we are and what we do to avoid our coping methods that allow us to avoid? I think some people may be facing those types of epiphanies right now. You also have the moon in Cancer in a really good placement. So I think that the universe is going to be, asking your soul to fess up and become accountable. But then your moon in Cancer is going to say, okay, Saturn, what do you need me to do here? Like, what do you need me to face? Because again, the moon in Cancer is going to be training the Saturn in Sagittarius energy. So this to me suggests that your emotional depth, something that you cling to in your past, something that you love, something that you treasure, that's what you're going to have to work on. Something that you did that emotionally impacted somebody that you completely loved at some point. This was somebody that you were going to spend the rest of your life with, somebody. What did you do to that person? And then how can you talk about making a resolution with that person, being accountable? How can you rewrite that past debt? How can you make it up to that person? And there's going to be a good talk about that. This could mean that for Cancer, this is a great day for Cancer energy. I got to tell you, I know Geminis are getting their butts handed to them, but Cancer energy is going to be blessed today. And because the moon in Cancer is going to trine Saturn and Sagittarius, that means that, it just seems like it's been so hard for Cancers. Saturn has been giving, the moon and, Cancer energy their butts lately. And that's been really, really hard on these sensitive Cancers. They want to hide. They want to go in their shell. They want to be like here, right? But that's not what's going on anymore. It just seems like there's so much support from Saturn. This is benefic. Saturn is ready to bestow gifts to the Cancers, the Cancer placements out there, the moons, the suns, the ascendant signs. And so that's really good for you guys. Also, the moon in Cancer is going to be sextiling the sun in Gemini. So you have the emotional strength, Geminis, to really process what's going on. You have them. You can grow from this experience if you allow this to work the right way. If you fight the energy and you oppose it and you want to stand your ground and you want to run away from it, then you're going to be met with great opposition today. And it wouldn't even be worth it for you to try to run, because there's no running from the energies. Because let me tell you, Mercury in Gemini is going to be squaring off with with Neptune and Pisces, so that means you can't, you can't just get away from it. You can't just pretend like it's not there, like Geminis like to do. You can't just manifest a whole different reality because you don't like the reality you're in. And the Mercury in Gemini is going to be quincunxing Pluto. So this is something that's, once you face this, it's something that is going to take away your personal power. It's something that is going to make you think twice about being so cocky. You're accountable to people. You're accountable to others. Saturn is making you understand that there's a karmic debt to be paid back when you do something that's self-indulgent. That's what this energy is trying to say. The yacht is still going on in today. Just know that it's something that everybody needs to be working with. Everybody, that's going to be Leos, that's going to be Geminis, it's going to be a Capricorn energy. I mean, we pretty much have everybody except for, I don't see a lot of, there's no really hardcore Scorpion energy, except for that your Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, is quincunxing, so it's in a really bad place, and it's quincunxing Mercury in Gemini, and it's quincunxing Pluto in Capricorn. Jupiter in Leo. So it's really asking people to step up and be accountable for creating a stable environment, being somebody to rely on. I see everybody at play here. I see predominantly the lessons are going to be with the Pluto and Capricorn and the Gemini's energies in here. There's a lot going on. But for the most part, the moon is going to go from Cancer into Leo today. Once the moon goes into Leo and your sun is in Gemini, I think this energy is going to calm down, because when the moon goes into Leo and Gemini energy work together really, really well. And so there's almost going to be a ballet between the two of them, that once you figure out this past karmic issue, this issue that you got to pay back, this karmic debt, this thing that you're slave to right now, I think your moon in Leo is going to go confidently and move forward with this. You just got to figure out what that is. This was the hardest video to shoot, which means to me that this is going to be one of the most confusing days for everybody, but especially if you have any kind of Gemini, because I have a Gemini rising. I have had to shoot this video 5 times now. 5. And that's because I just kept getting interrupted. It was confusing, and there was all of this stuff going on. And it was a phone going off. It was this. It was just, this is going to be your day. Be forewarned. I told you. I hope you have a fantastically wonderful, confusing, crazy ass day. And I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow.